It's a 2017 Toyota Highlander. I got quite a few things I need to do with this car. Maintenance wise, I got to change the transmission fluid, spark plugs, air filter, brakes, just the basic stuff. It's got 100,000 miles on it. Let me show you. I put an air filter here around when she first got it. It was 4/9/2023. That's over the years. I mean, it don't look horrible, but I mean, this is going to get replaced too. PCV valve, we'll do a basic throttle body cleaning. If I gotta relearn it, I'll do that. But I'm gonna, oh gosh, if I can get it in there. So it just needs some basic maintenance. The biggest thing is when doing spark plugs on this, the intake gotta come off. And I like to do the challenging things first. The PCV valve is gonna be right here. Before I forget to mention that, these hoses are still pretty new, so we shouldn't have to worry about them being all hard and brittle like Toyota hoses are commonly. I will put dielectric grease on the nipples where the hose go back on to prevent potential future hardage. I don't know if that's a word, but we're going to use it today. Hardage. So I think I talked enough. I will say though, you're not going to agree with me. There's no Denso spark plugs at the stores that I typically use, so I have to put Bosch in there. I'd imagine nobody's going to complain simply because it's not Autolite. All right, give me a little credit. We do use Bosch parts like oxygen sensors, very reputable company. So the same materials going in there. That's all that matters. Trust me, I think I did a Honda, my sister's car, a couple years ago, and did Autolite spark plugs. People were like, they don't belong in there, but the car's still running fine today. Same Autolites. Let's jump into it. I'm going to do the hard part first. Simply, I'm going to take off the PCV hose. This breather here, this is going to come off, and everything just coming off just as easy as it wants to, which is a great sign. And get the air hose off, mass airflow sensor. I did a video on how to diagnose these mass airflow sensors. It was a Toyota I did earlier this year. It had this strange watchdog code. 10mm there. Get it all the way off. No big deal. There we go. It's coming off. We have a keeper here in the back. No big deal. Here by the throttle body, there's a bracket right there. That needs to come off. I'm gonna take that bolt out, and then the one at the very bottom, I'm just gonna leave that one loose. Then we'll take the bolts off from the intake and all the hoses. Seems like it'll be easy if I just take the throttle body off, and I'm gonna do that simply because I don't want to get any coolant loss. This is a 10mm. A lot better access to that bolt now. Evap purge valve. This is a vacuum switching valve for the intake runner. So what's holding the intake is the brake booster line here. And then there's another vacuum line here at the bottom. Goes around here to here. And then this goes to our vacuum. So okay, so we have a primary source. This is our primary source. Brake booster, and then our vacuum switching valve. Well, for the intake runner. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this off by itself, and then I'm gonna see if I have enough room to just roll it over. I can see that being a problem in the future if you're not careful. Let me see here. Don't have enough room to roll it. I'm gonna pull the whole thing off with the intake gasket. Let's move this back. And I'm gonna pull that off down at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. This line off. Full visual of that. Here's the lock I was referring to. You have to push those tabs in to pull this out. This vacuum tee out. It's no big deal. But I can see where it'd be a problem in the future where this will become brittle. So, oh shit, I'm about to fall. All right, we got access to our coils in the back. Take a 10 millimeter and just run them out. Or the retaining bolt. You gotta be careful because I tell you what, it's a lot of plastic back here. So there's one. This is another one. I'm just gotta feel around. I do believe I got the right ones out. Everything's plastic. Jeez Louise. So I think I can pull them out without having to disconnect them. One. Another one. Oh, did I pull out the wrong bolt? No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, these are flimsy boots, so yeah, this is gonna work out. Okay. Alright, I got a wobble head extension, 16 millimeter. You can use a 5/8, and I just got two 3-inch extensions. Stack them on top of each other, and it's working out just fine. Now, mind you, this has 100,000 miles on it, so we're gonna see how these plugs are looking after 100,000 miles. The iridiums are supposed to be changed every 100,000 anyway. That's one of the primary reasons why I'm in here. I don't know if I mentioned, but I couldn't, since this vehicle is still pretty new, I can't get the intake manifold gaskets, unfortunately, and I didn't go to the dealer to get anything. And a lot of this is an effort to keep the price down for my clientele and exercising common sense. So, I mean, the gasket is pliable, it has some protrusion, I can leave it alone. Oh, here's allegedly Denso. Yeah, Denso is what goes in there. Oh, they have these split fires. I didn't know. I see why they didn't have them in stock. You know, everybody had their perceptions about those split fire spark plugs when putting them in vehicles. They work as they should, but I never had any. Honestly, I didn't know they use these from the factory. These are OEM. Yeah, you could tell they're worn out pretty bad. I mean, here's the thing. The spark plug is going to hit only on one of those. I mean, if one wears out, I don't see how the other one can be any of use when the path of least resistance is going to be where the spark goes. I understand why they put these tri-fitted grounds on there, but it just doesn't make any sense, because if you have poor running conditions, it's going to foul out, and then two of them are going to be useless because they've developed soot. Call me crazy. Those are out. I'm going to put those Bosch in there. So I got the Bosch here. Okay. These are the Bosch I'm using. They're Iridium. They don't have that tri-fire type setup. These are just single electrode. Whoa. Dielectric grease for my coil boots here. I can get it back out of there. Wait a minute. These only go in one way. Make sure okay. So don't make the same mistake I did. You kinda can put these in the wrong spot. So this one goes in the middle. Yeah, if you pull them out like I did, they're gonna be comfortable going back in their original location. That one was a little tense. This one is relaxed. Okay, perfect. And then the last one. while it's out, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the throttle body so I can get the backside, and then I'm gonna get the intake back on in reverse order. If you got the intake off, obviously it's a good time to replace the gasket. Mine was fine, so I'm gonna reuse it despite the mileage. Then we'll do the front and the PCV valve and the air filter and start it up. We replaced in the back, got everything put back together in reverse order. What you saw is pretty much, it was simplistic. There's nothing special about pulling this intake off besides the few bolts. That's the bittersweet part about these new vehicles with all this plastic. We're gonna do the front plugs here. Same process, 10 millimeter, 16 millimeter, or 5/8. And then, but the difference is we're gonna take this PCV valve out. And I think with these, I'm gonna have to actually disconnect the plug. Not this one. Nope, I guess not. Let that hang. Let that hang there. Plugs, pretty much the same, nothing special. Some of them are definitely looking a little worse than others. Yeah, some of them definitely look a little worse. Funny how this one's wet. It's not wet at the top, but the cylinder is definitely wet. I hope there's no leaky injector or anything, which I doubt. I mean, unless one of them just spraying a little more than the others. So I just want to look for some uniformity with these plugs if you're inspecting them. One good telltale, if you can't look at the ground and see that the plugs are worn out, because usually what happens, the ground will start to deform and it'll separate itself from the electrode, is to look at the porcelain right around here. I just call it a flashbang. Usually that's a sign of compression seeping through the plug wheel outside, and that's usually a good dictator of age. It's my method, at least. All right, got those out. Let's get these new ones in, and then get this PCV valve replaced. And again, for you pretentious mechanics, I know these are not factory. These are Bosch. These are going right in there, like so. Get this PCV valve out. Y'all know I frequently patronize O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Such a bittersweet relationship. Here's the part number for their PCV valve, V594. come wrapped up in this nice plastic with the vent holes so the part can breathe. We get this out. I'm gonna use a 21 millimeter or 7/8. The 7/8 seems to fit fine, but likely it's gonna be a 21. 7/8 is a little bit larger than a 21. There it go. This out. Oh my gosh. Got a brand new seal. Yes. There we go. I could lube that up with oil, but I'm not though. Be careful not to strip that. Alright, that's that. Take our PCV hose. I'm going to hit it with some dielectric grease. Just so it doesn't get hard in the future, and just slide it right on. There we go. Ooh, there's our tune-up with the plugs, that is, and I do have the air filter popped in there. I did that off camera. Don't take a genius to do that. Let's start it up, see if I screw something up or not. To be honest, I didn't want to let it run too terribly long. I still got to change the oil, but then again, I do need to do the brakes in the back too. But this is it. That's the labor time is 3 point, I want to say 4 hours to do this. That's what it paid for. That's what I quoted for. It's not my fault that I know my way around a car, so it was easy. Didn't have to rub 2 brain cells to do this. But that was the book time. That's what it quoted. All right, I'm gonna let this ride out. I gotta get it jumping on doing the other maintenance, such as the transmission fluid and the rear brakes. But if anything happened, I'll definitely update. I highly doubt this is gonna have to come back for anything. But hit link, subscribe channel, stay informed, how to reach out to my work. See you on the next one.